So for this video, I'm going to be talking about external rotators. And with that, pretty much something that we don't think about too often, and that's the endurance aspect of the external rotations. This area and this muscle group can be very overlooked. And we throw in workouts that involve very basic isotonic movements that the individual will feel, but won't really feel that it's there, but it's not connecting to the purpose of the muscles. Think about how many times the arm moves. Even when we're talking, we're doing a lot of external rotation. And when we just throw in some weights without controlling those muscles and asking them just to dynamically do an exercise, yes, there could be some benefit to it, but I think the best effect is to just drain the muscle through endurance training. And there's many ways that you can do this. The purpose of these videos also are going to be to find simple approaches to making an exercise extremely difficult for everyone, not just one category of individual, but everyone. And you can modify. At the clinic, we do have a table, one of those really expensive tables that with hydraulics can increase or decrease in height. Sitting on a chair, I feel that's better for the client than sitting on a carpet because you're more comfortable. And this is just something I'm going to transfer it onto the bench just because this is universal and I'm sure everyone has access to this to begin with. But moving forward into really utilizing the your tailoring effect to an exercise, use that table because it's comfortable. You can sit, you can increase the height, and instead of standing up, going from one side, you just turn on a chair. With the bench, practical. We attach the band onto some type of sturdy area, a pole of some sort. You can play around with the different types of bands. Me, myself, doing this exercise for myself, or if you're planning on trying this exercise, it's the difference is if you're working with a kinesiologist, I can be on the other end of the band and I can strap it around my waist and slowly start walking backwards to increase the level of difficulty. So you would get into your external rotation, and then from there I would back up and you would start feeling the difficulty in that exercise. So I guess the only thing is here, if it's not too difficult, you're going to have to just back up, or if it's too difficult, you move forward. Nonetheless, having a supported external rotation horizontal, I think, again, we're just playing with angles and trying to fatigue the muscle. Not everyone can. You would want to start off with the basic down in the transverse plane external rotation, elbow by the ribs, 0 degree, and then going with that because most individuals have a better motor unit firing in that position, whereas here it's a little bit difficult, but we're supported. When you're doing this exercise without the bench, you're working more stabilization as also the internal external rotators being the teres minor and infraspinatus. But when we're resting on the bench, we're able to really focus on just that effect of not so much stabilization, just fatiguing the external rotators. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. I would always say the best way to do this, again, why it's a lot more convenient on a table and a chair is because you can, and with the kinesiologist, they can right here. There's quite a bit of, it's still kind of slacky, although it looks taut, the rope. It's not rope, the band. Of course, square yourself forward and shoulders down. Try to flatten out the arm. Make sure you can't see from that angle, but make sure you're not too inward or too outwards. However, this is another portion of the exercise that changes the demand on external rotation that you can throw in. So to begin with, here we go, external rotation, and then, oh, I'm not feeling it, so we back up. And this is where we need to sit. Don't arch your back, contract the core. We'll artificially create that tightness by arching. Squeeze the core, chest up, and hold. Can we do this for roughly a minute? Like a minute is a lot if you think about it. You will start feeling fatigued. If you can't hold this exercise, the most basic, simple exercise for 1 minute, you're doing all your exercises incorrectly just because this is the most basic fundamental routine you can do, and it needs to be accomplished first. So focus on doing it correctly before you start providing these workouts that can possibly regress you or your client's health. So a minute, yes? The other way, if you don't have access to a band, you grab yourself a weight, and it's tough just because here there's no difficulty, but here it is. So that's fine. We can start off with something like this, and we're just holding this position. And again, trying to hold that minutes. I prefer the band just because then I can actually see what my range of motion is, and I'm holding it. And where I was going to go with that. So 1 minute there, try a minute here too. Once you start feeling like the difficulty you want to increase, then you can start playing around with, you know, a little bit of elbow flexion extension. Just see if you can change the angle, the demand of the muscle. That's it. That's very basic, but extremely effective routine that you can throw in. There's also, maybe doing the external rotation on the bench here too, in seated position. Not so popular on the bench, but yes, the same thing. Rest the elbow maybe on the pad, and then just get them in this angle here, facing forward and just holding if you're a kin, or if you can have some person move further away with the band that way. So you don't have to tuck it in. You can have it resting on an object. So this is like mid from horizontal to tucked in, but I'm resting on the pad. I'm really able to focus and just doing the external rotation. And to me, that's the number one goal, is to get the endurance first, and then play around with the isotonics, get the isometrics down pat, because based on the new research, they've noticed that 15 seconds is how much an isometric work, an exercise will benefit the tendons in the muscle, as opposed to just doing 10 reps, which will probably be less than 10 seconds, let alone how much did you actually receive time under tension in those muscles. I can keep going, but that's it. That's a great exercise that take to your clients or yourself if you want to try. Fire it off, and I hope that helps. Great. Thank you.